So I just wanted to give you a quick little tutorial on a method of transferring your design, which is putting your fabric through the printer. So the one I'm going to be showing you today, it's a very simple design. It's just a little sampler design, but you can also print things like this. So you can print photographs on your fabric. So this is my grandparents actually, and it can be a really nice project. So I just printed their photograph onto the fabric and stitched around it. So that can be a really nice thing to do with this as well. But anyway, so what we need is some freezer paper. Okay, seems strange, but it works very well. So it comes in a roll like that, and I have cut it down to A4 sized sheets so that it fits through my printer. So if you have a printer that does A3 size, obviously you can do that as well, but A4 is generally a good way to go, especially while you're getting used to it. So this freezer paper, you'll see it has like a waxy side and this kind of shiny side here, and then the other side is matte. It's just like paper. Okay, so we have those sheets, and I also have my fabric. Oops. So just a medium weight calico fabric is what I have here. If you are printing photographs, obviously it's best to do them on this kind of shade or a white fabric so that they come out as accurate as possible. But so you're going to take your fabric, you want to iron your fabric and make sure that there's no little creases in it or anything like that. And then you're going to iron your paper to your fabric. Okay, so you want to take the waxy side and put that against the fabric. Okay, just lay it down on the fabric and you're going to iron that in place. Now you want to try and make sure that it's going with the grain of your fabric if possible. Just makes it a little bit easier. And I also generally iron the paper onto a piece of fabric that's slightly bigger so that I can then trim it down and have the fabric the exact same size as the piece of paper. It just goes through the printer a little bit easier like that. Okay, so dry iron, kind of medium high heat, and you're just going to iron that paper to the fabric. I usually turn it over and run it on the other side as well then, just to make sure, and that will stick the two of them together, and then they'll be able to go through the printer just like a normal piece of paper. Okay, so I'm just going to iron them together and then trim down the sides. So this is what it looks like when it's ironed. So I have my fabric on one side and just the paper on the other, and you can see how kind of stiff that is as opposed to just the fabric. It's going to be much easier to put this through the printer than just the fabric by itself. Okay, so I have trimmed it down so that it's all the exact same size. You don't want any bits of thread coming off because they can kind of get caught and make it get jammed in the printer. To trim that, I just used a rotary cutter and a ruler, of course, to get it nice and straight. But a scissors will work just as well. You just want it to be nice and neat and the same size. Okay, so next we're going to put it through the printer. Now, obviously all printers are different. I'm showing you on my printer, but to be honest, just play around with your own printer. It might be different, have different settings, you know, different things might work for you. For example, I know which side to put my fabric through or put my paper through, which side it will print on. Okay, so you want to try that out first maybe, so that you know, do you need to put it in the printer paper side up or do you put it in fabric side up? Which side will it print on if it goes through? The other thing to know is my printer, it's not going to be the same on all printers. I have used other printers where color works, but on my printer that I have at the moment, I can only do black and white prints. For some reason, when it prints in color, it always gets jammed. Okay, so again, depends on your own printer. Play around with it a little bit and see what you can do on yours. Okay, so we'll move to putting it into the printer next. So I've put that fabric into the printer. I know my printer, the side that is facing up in the paper tray, it prints on the opposite side. So my fabric is down there and that paper side is up here. Okay, so I just put one sheet into the paper tray at a time, just in case things get jammed or anything like that. So just putting that in, and I'll just print a simple design on there. Okay, so you can see that has come out of the printer like that. This edge is a little bit bent, but it's okay. And I have my design just printed on the fabric there. And the other thing that I forgot to mention is, of course, you want to make sure your design is in the center of the page that you're printing. That way it'll be easier to get a hoop around it or anything like that. But that's pretty much it. That's how you print on fabric. Oh, and the very last thing I forgot to mention, of course, you want to take that paper off your fabric. So it should just peel off very simply there. It doesn't leave any residue on your fabric. And now you can stick that in your hoop. And you're done.